game of Dishonored, you play the role of a supernatural assassin named Corvo Atano. At the very beginning of the game, you have been wrongfully accused of the murder of the Empress of the city of Dunwall, which is where the game takes place. And Dunwall is a really unique and interesting place. We've invented it from the ground up. It's sort of our own take on steampunk. And over the course of many really cool, diverse missions, you have to take out all these targets, and the way that you do it is totally up to you. When we were thinking about how to build the city of Dunwall, we started by looking at places like London in the 1600s and seeing what was going on then with all the plagues and the great fires, and and as we went through history, we started to get really excited about like Industrial Revolution type stuff, and so Dunwall ended up being this city with those kind of influences in it. It's sort of an industrial era whaling town with this like weird alternate technology layered onto it. So we're really excited about it. We've been working on it for over 3 years. And we hope everybody loves it as much as we do. When we think about the different ways that players can approach the game, it is a really hard problem for us as developers, but we just try to make sure that whichever path you decide to take, it works as a narrow experience. If you want to be the guy who's just gonna smash his way into a place and murder everyone inside and just do the main objectives, it totally works. On the other hand, if you want to be the kind of player who's just going to take his time, be very surgical, very precise, then you can do that too. And a lot of times what happens is because of the combinatorial nature of our powers and the way the players use them, like we get surprised all the time by the strategies that people invent, and that's one of the places we spend a lot of our time is figuring out how many of those things we want to allow. In our case, it's almost all of them. We say, yeah, it's an exploit, but no, it's not. It's the way that somebody figured out how to solve the problem. So let's put it in the game, let's support it, and let's go with it. When we're looking at the playtest stuff to get feedback on the game, it's the biggest challenge for us is communicating to players that there's this super rich world there for you to take advantage of, because you can't just sort of race your way through it. We allow that. But we really want to let players know, hey, there's this like much deeper, richer, interactive experience if that's the way that you want to go. How we communicate a lot of our game mechanics and features of our world, our story, it kind of depends on how important it is. If it's something really key and really critical, like for instance, we have a power called Blink, which is one of our signature moves. It is, I think, our signature power. And it's very important to the feel of Dishonored. So for that power, we tutorialize it, we give every single player it, and it features prominently in the game. And then we have some other peripheral elements that we let the player discover on their own because it's not as important, but the players who do put in the extra effort to find it, they're going to be rewarded for it. It's totally fair to say, when you're making a game inside of a space, a kind of game, we have people on the team who worked on some of those games, who are big fans of those games, so it's totally fair to say that we draw inspiration from everything that we love, right? On the other hand, it's really easy to make the comparisons when you just see like a screenshot or you just hear a description of something. I think when you play the game, you'll find that Dishonored has its own identity. It's its own game for 100%. For determining how the game is going to end, we decided not to go with like a classical binary black-white, good bad scenario. We instead decided to sort of think about it in terms of the chaos or the stability of the city and the way that your actions affect the stability of the citizens and the city's fate and the people who are close to you. So to that end, if you decide to play the game in a way that's just super murderous, just indiscriminately killing innocent civilians, you are committing yourself to a much darker end game. And there's a few local ripples too. Like occasionally, a certain character's path will be altered because of the way you played one mission. If you kill a bunch of the city guards, then you'll notice there's some subtle things. Like you'll notice, hey, there's more rats. There's more rat swarms that are crossing the streets now because the city's becoming unhinged a little bit. However, if you decide to play in a more careful way, then you're going to have a less dark ending.